in the organization building in context of the employee engagement session, we will talking about the what is the employee engagement, benefits of the foreign these engaged workplace, 6 steps the engagement model and 10 key drivers of the employee engagement. The AON Hewitt model will be there, employee engagement strategies for the improved workplace, employee engagement practices, the ultimate guide to the employee engagement, and how to develop and sustain the employee engagement at the work in the organization. Then we will talk about the Deloitte model and this research paper and the references as usual. So, whenever we are talking about the employee engagement, what makes a workplace a place of work? Is it only the premises, the machine, equipment, or the luxurious facilities? So, no, it is the human workers, also known as the human capital. They determine both the quality of the workplace and the future of the organization is there. In the previous session, I have talked about that is the how to create the well-being or the happiness at the workplace, and therefore, in that case, when we are talking about to engage the employee, naturally we have to take care of that is these machine equipments and these all facilities, all the resources which are supposed to be required by that particular employee, and they are provided him with the need of the job. So, then as a result of which there will be the more and more employee engagement will be there. So, the term employee engagement relates to the level of an employee's commitment and the connection to an organization. So, employee engagement has emerged as a critical driver of the business success in today's competitive marketplace. High levels of engagement promotes retention of talent, foster customer loyalty, and improve the organizational performance and the stakeholder values. The more engaged they are, the better it is for the organization. With the advent and the proliferation of the knowledge economy, the corporate leaders have come to realize that they must go beyond the acquisition and recruitment and focus on the full employee life cycle is there. Now, they recognize the importance of this discovering the viable employee engagement strategies to maximize their human capital investment and turn them into the high ROI assets for the business. That brings us to the question, what is employee engagement? It sounds simple, but goes deep. Let us start with what it is not. It is not a strategy. The word strategy connotes being able to bring the about a preferable outcome through the tactical moves. However, what a sound employee engagement strategy essentially does not boost the likelihood that the relationship between the employee and the organization will be the positive in nature. So, therefore, in that case, employee engagement cannot be a strategy because the engagement comes from within the employee. It is the emotional connection or the commitment that an employee has to the organization, and then that causes the employee to want to put forth as the additional effort to ensure the organization and the brand success is there. So, therefore, in that case there are the 3 parts of any feasible employee engagement strategy, that is the physical, emotional, and the cognitive. So, when we talk about the physical, it is the employee exerts a high amount of energy to do the work. The level of complexity of the work corresponds to the employee's specified skill sets are there. So, emotionally is the employees understand their job significance and put their heart into their job. They feel challenges and they inspired while doing it and feel a sense of achievement when finished. Cognitive employee become the engrossed with their work and start to get into the flow. When an employee is engaged on these 3 levels, that is the physical level, emotional level, and the cognitive level, then his personal investment to the work is maximum, and he or she starts to feel an emotional connection to it. So, benefits of an engaged workforce is are self-motivated, have a clear understanding of their roles, recognizes the significance of their contribution, focus on the future training and development, feel that they belong to the community, that is the organization is there. So, employee engagement results in improved motivation and better job satisfaction, and thus a lower cost to the value ratio for your human personal expenditure is there. It goes like this, while the every employee adds to the bottom line, every engaged employee adds that much more. Now, here I would like to talk about the 6 steps engagement model is there. Here in 6 steps engagement model, it is improving the engagement that gives results and saves money. Now, first one is that is about the lead, focus on the management is there. So, here the focus on management development to create leaders who will be the main drivers of the employee engagement will be there. So, here it is very necessary that is organization should have those leadership practices, and where you can create that the employee engagement, and these leaders will making the influence on others also of the employee engagement is there. Second is that is the inspire. So, set vision, mission, values and purpose is there, and these 4 elements show the direction, define the behaviors and give a sense of worth and the meaning is there. So, next is the context, create a culture of these open two-way communication is there, and therefore, the way people communicate is the base for engagement. Effectiveness, teamwork, trust and the collaboration is there. Grow, create the opportunities for the personal growth and the development. This development in the career opportunity is based on the clear and fair principles enabling high potential employees to grow. These enable create the positive working environment, that is a healthy organizational culture creates an environment where employees communicate, collaborate and perform very effectively, and that is making the enabling is there. Then they create a reputable organization. People are more engaged when they are proud of the company they work for. So, here in this 6 steps engagement model, we understand that is this the leadership, creation of the leaders at the workplace, those who will inspire. So, naturally those who are at the leadership position, they themselves should be highly engaged at the workplace, and then they will find their followers, their team members, when they find that is my leader is highly engaged, then definitely in that case they become the more and more highly motivated. Second is about the inspiring. So, set visions, mission, values and the purpose is there. Now, every employee is looking forward. So, what is the vision? What is the mission? And then he should be able to articulate that vision. Do you have your vision? Have you articulated your vision? If your vision is there, vision is what? That is giving you the goal, and goal is making you the driving force. So, unless and until you are not focusing on your vision, then definitely you will find the shorts of these driving forces which will make you the highly motivated and moving towards a particular direction. And the senior successful executives, and they are having this type of the inspiring capabilities, and a sense of the worth and the meaning is necessary. And then the context here when we talk about that is understanding. The employer and employee both should understand to each other, and here you will find that is the that engagement that will create the teamwork is there, because I have to get work done from others. So, I understand it is I am maybe 100% engaged, but if my colleagues are not engaged, I will not be able to attain the goal. So, therefore, this team building and this creating the trust among the team members, that collaboration, that is also becoming very, very important, that unless and until there is not a trust and collaboration towards the goal, then you will not be able to achieve that particular goal is there. Now, we have to also understand that is a leader should have these enabling conditions which are making the person to communicate with each other, collaborate with each other, talk to each other, and when there is this growing and these enabling conditions are matching, then definitely there will be the results will be there. Now, we will find out the 10 key drivers of the employee engagement are there. So, the 10 key drivers of the employee engagement is this effective and unambiguous communication is there. So, first and foremost is very important, that is how is the communication flow in the organization. If the employees they free, no, many times I have seen that is the boss or that leader actually, you understand the difference between the boss and the leader. The boss is the by virtue of position, he is the leader, but he may have the leadership quality or he may not have the leadership quality, and many people are hesitating to talk to the boss, and it is because there is a communication gap is there. And if this type of the gap is there, then definitely the employee engagement that will create the barriers, because I want to talk to my boss, but I am not telephoning him because I am scared. I am scared that is whether he will appreciate this question, he will not appreciate this question, whether he will feel offended, that is at what time you are calling me, and like this type of the issues are there. If this type of the issues are there, then definitely there will be the problem in the creating these focusing more and more on workplace, because my boss is not supporting, or I am not in the good term with the boss, or not communication is there. So, what is required is free flow of communication, and this free flow of communication, and that will create the work culture. So, whenever we are talking about this particular work culture, then what practices you are adopting. So, open door policy. Then any time to accessibility. So, this accessibility and approach to the boss, that becomes the key word, because then employee is feel free to contact the boss, he is not having any stress. That is the, if I am not able to do this particular job, then how I will be able to complete, because he is having the strong support through his boss, because the boss is always accessible. So, opportunities for the growth are increasing, and these rewards and the recognition will be increasing, because the employees are getting more rewards and they are getting the recognition, not necessarily that these rewards are the monetary rewards, these can be non-monetary rewards also. A simple certificate given by the HR to the production manager that he has done the good job, and then that recognition will motivate him and keep him more engaged at the workplace is there. The another factor which I have talked earlier also, and that is a work-life balance. Nowadays this has been seen, that is either the people are focused towards the work, or they are focused towards the family, and who is the successful? The successful person is focusing the equally between the work and the family is there, his priorities are very clear, his time management is very much focused. So, workplace this diversity and inclusion, that will be creating a new practices, and this environment, physical environment in the training and development environment is there to support the employees, so he can communicate, and wherever he find the difficulty in performance he can do. So, he will be more engaged. These compensate and creative leadership is there, and the working togetherness with the leader, and that is giving you the credible leadership, and this shared ownership is there, and whatever has been earned, and that has been shared by the both are there. The AON Hewitt model, which is talking about these engagement drivers, that is about the company practices, then these basics, the work, the leadership performance, the leadership, and the brand is there. Now, whenever we are talking about these company practices, then in that case the communication, customer focus, diversity and inclusion, enabling infrastructure, and the talent and the staffing is there. As far as this the communication and customer focus is there, every organization is putting their 100% efforts, so that is they can connect with their customer, and the business is the customer driven. The basics benefits, job security, safety, work environment, and work life balance is there, which is keeping the employee engaged, because here it is important that is the person is having the very positive and supporting work environment, and also they having the job security. So, therefore, he is not threatened, and he can contribute, he can take risk, he can take more initiatives, he can be the enterprising at his workplace. Then the brand is there, and in the brand there is a reputation, brand EVP, or the corporate responsibility is there, and here it is important, that is he has to understand that whatever brand he is creating, then that brand should be very supportive. So, these employee engagement strategies for the improved workplace are the bottom up approach is there, and which is making these business outcomes for the talent, operational, customer, and the financial resources are there. So, engagement becomes the say, stay, and strive is there, strive for the excellence. The construction of a house starts by building the right foundation at the bottom, not the roof. With any major decision in the organization, it is warranted that it starts at the lowest tiers, your employees. So, conduct these questionnaires and survey that permits your employees to express their opinions and concern. That 1 in the 6 employees are so unhappy, they are looking for a new job, and a survey might be the best way to spur your employee engagement strategy, and the money you ask for their opinions, the more they feel esteemed, entitled, respected, and like they belong to the organizations are there. Organization should promote the two-way communication, and to promote the employee engagement, the first requirement is to keep the employees out of the dark. If the organizations are secretive and not only information on a need to know basis, it will likely cause the lower engagement and death rates among the employees. The transparency, that is begets trust when employee gets to understand how corporate decisions will affect the workplace or how they could deal with the situations. But is disseminating information enough? No, communication should go two ways. The employees should be enough to share their concerns so they do not feel ignored or unvalued, and the top business leaders generally believe in the open door policy and to not use the top secret information to their advantage. Now, the employee community participation is very important. An organization is essentially to a community. Each member, that is fulfills a specific task and serves the community as a whole. To encourage this community, that is the spirit among the your employees are there, and any engagement activity that can help from ongoing and the big annual event to simply taking a team onto the lunch. So, notwithstanding the hierarchy present in the organization, it is better to maintain a certain level of quality and unbiasedness where everyone feels that they are important to the communities are there. Actually, they feel the part of the community, like the part of the family is there. So, it is an inclusive leadership. So, therefore, whenever we are talking about these inclusive leadership, so that creates the trust among these employees are there. So, these recognize the good work and therefore, in that case whoever has done the good work and then you are appreciating may engage in the unwanted behavior, that is the person will not be spending his time. Also, the highly trained and qualified talent is always looking for better option out there. For this reason, it is wise to create a recognition rich environment where the good work is rewarded with the perks and the incentives. At the very least, a very good words and a certification of appreciation that can go a long way in letting others have valued for the other work. Now, employee should make the investment in his personal growth and this is a part of the nurturing phase of the human capital management. So, every human assets that you acquire should be fostered and polished to assist in the long term growth of the organization, whether it is by running a proprietary training program or sponsoring the higher education for your employees. You are not only investing in the future of your company, but also creating a sense of loyalty among your employees. Remember, every employee loves a company that supports them in their professional career and adds value to their personal lives are there. Hire competent managers and your secret weapon to spur the employees engagement in the managers. They are the middlemen between the boardroom members and the employees. In most cases, the employee interact with the top level executives rarely, if ever, but have daily interactions with their immediate bosses. Whether they are feeling the secure, angry or ignored depends on the tact of the respective manager. So, are they capable of handling the employees? If not, what they can do better? So, it creates a sense of purpose is there. So, employees are not robots, so they are human. So, organizations that tend to see employees as a commodity that can be bought at a certain price have not been woken up the true essence of human capital. Unfortunately, your employees are not another factor of production, but prospective champions of your organization's values and principles. Although a hefty paycheck definitely helps, when an employee feels an emotional connection to your brand, they will be able to provide a higher personal investment and contribute in for the greater measure. Sketch a success roadmap, and this applies most of you hire the millennials in your organization. For many millennials, just coming to the office, doing the work assigned and taking the paycheck back home is not enough. They are more conscious about what where they will stand in the next 5 years or the 10 years. They need to know there are the sufficient growth prospects for the role they are fulfilling. So, sketching a proper roadmap of success is yet another pillar to a successful employee engagement strategy. Holding the regular career counseling sessions or checking out a clear career advancement path might help a lot when it comes to millennial employee engagement is there. So, the 5 best practices for the employee engagement or the communicate the employee engagement strategy. The success of the strategy depends on the how well we everyone understand in the first place. These are the main points that need to be addressed. What is the strategy and what does it achieve to the organization? How is it going to be the conducted through the survey, existing data, etc. What will be the measured customer engagement, productivity, etc. So, details of the survey and the updates after that, and how will the this operation improves its metrics. The more detail the better is always. Identify the action areas. Without the specific areas to measure and rectify, it would not be the possible for an organization to deploy an effective employee engagement strategy. Instead of trying to work all drivers of the employee engagement, organization should answer 2 questions, which are the most critical drivers of employee engagement and which among them can possibly be tackled with the available resources. So, proper resources planning, corporate actions areas makes a break and made a strategy. So, identify these SMART goals. So, this one is a no brainer. Without any goals, an organization does not have a direction to follow. What does it want to achieve? What does it need to improve? What is the role of the strategy? All these questions need to be answered. That moreover, such goals need to be the specific, measurable and achievable, realistic and timely. That is, a SMART is there. So, when you are having the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely goals, then definitely manager will be able to properly execute the strategy, figure out the whether it is a following the expected results or not. So, we require to prepare an action plan. Once the participants goals are in place, it is time to prepare an action plan on how to attend them. At this stage, the allocation of resources and the definition of the key performance indicators are taken care of to facilitate the measurement of the progress. It is vital to note that the effectiveness of the action plan resides on this the direct supervision. Employee engagement rates soar when they distribute these resources. So, ensure the sustainable development. A proper employee engagement strategy also enlists in how best to sustain the engagement efforts to over time. Countries, research and industry best practices suggest to organizations. So, commit to a long term strategy that goes beyond the one simply survey, involve the both leadership and the staff and gain a middle ground for the better collaboration. So, measure and optimize until it is reaches to the desired numbers, align with the business goals for the better productivity. The ultimate guide to the employee engagement is the for a crucial business. It increases the productivity, this boosts the innovation, increases the retention and brings a good name for your organization. So, it is also said that it is the there are the twice as likely to leave their jobs in the next year. So, so many features for to tracking the employees engagement and the strategies for improving the employee engagement, especially for the remote teams. Here is the ultimate guide to improve the engagement is there. So, the hire with the employee engagement in mind. Therefore, in that case, whenever you are hiring in particular employee, so you have to keep in mind that is the possibility to impact how employees interact with each other, either strengthening the values to your organization or the distracting from the work culture is there. So, second is that is about the salary. So, your new employee's salary expectation should match with the company's can unfailingly offer. So, values are your new hire should respect how the organization operates to attain its goals. Competencies able to skills to meet the responsibilities demanded by the positions, and the culture should the new hires should possess the personal and the emotional skills to be on the same page with their new colleagues and the management. So, only when employees can align with all these aspects, they will be ready to engage with your businesses are there. So, leverage the onboarding tool and these employee training is there, and now hires are the only learning to navigate the complexity and will need assistance in the specific areas. Thus, your first step should be to understand their viewpoint and work towards the offering an onboarding experience that will keep them engaged. According to a survey, 43% of the new hires have leave their jobs in the first 90 days as they felt that the role described during the process of hiring was not what they experienced and what they began to work. So, another statistic suggests that the organization that offer the inadequate onboarding programs have twice more the chances of the facing the employee turnover. So, this goes to the show just now how essential our onboarding can be. The first impression is the crucial and will have a significant impact on new employees expectations. Now, however, these first impression do not stop after the new hires accept an offer. So, your newest employees will evaluate the experience and more carefully during the initial few weeks with your business. If you are able to provide what you promised during the hiring process, it will deepen that initial good impression and makes way for the employee engagement. So, while an onboarding requires several different tasks for the compliance, you should not overlook the training and relationship building. So, the interactives on the job e-learning solutions enhances your training by adding the employees in their entire learning process while working. Work on the professionally developing your employees. If statistics are anything to go by, more than 70% of the high retention of the risk employees will leave a company they see no future progress in their present job. If your employees feel that you do not care about their professional development, they may see themselves as denigrating their asset. So, ask yourself why you value your employees. It is not what they are offering right now, or you value them for what they can become while they work with you. If you are able to align your organization's growth opportunities with the factors that motivate the employees, it will increase employee engagement will be there. So, from these basic needs, so then the psychological needs and the self fulfillment needs, these Abraham Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. So, here when we talk about the physiological needs, satisfaction is there, and then the safety, belongingness, esteem and self actualization. But the limitation of this model is this, that is it is not necessarily it will be the hierarchy. For the some employees, it is the esteem needs are more important as compared to the belongingness or the self actualization. So, therefore, this level hierarchy of level that may be interchangeable, and it will depend on the individual to individual what makes him the more highly motivated. Improve your attention with the employee engagement, and time and again then the regular communication between the managers and employees have assisted in developing the engaged employees. So, another chance to help you continue this effective communication, allowing managers, employees and leadership to offer authentic feedback and learn from each other as in the exit interview process. So, you should take the action whenever necessary, even when the economy is thriving. If there is any competent employees, you should not hesitate to replace him or her. So, employee engagement does not blend with the employee's disengagement. If an employee is not showing any sign of improving their performance or making desirable changes, you can dismiss them while they are defending the other employees on that team. To engage the departing the employees, you should offer the appropriate transparency. Your employees will have their own reason why they depart, and the appropriate details provided by the team members when they depart can aid the rest of the employees to process the change without making a cynical guesswork is there. So, we have to recognize our employees, reasons why they are leaving the voluntarily. When you understand and categorize the reasons employees leave, it will help that is the your organizations to improve, find out the reasons and see that is the retention of the employees, that becomes very important. And this conducting the best employee survey, identify who are doing the best, understand what will increase the level of personal investment at work and then how they will be over to go by conducting short term regular surveys to work better, and these surveys results that will be giving you the direction and identifying that is how you can engage your employees and retain them. So, make the sound investments on the employees, those who are contributing towards the organization, developing the compelling the business case is there. So, therefore, it should be the positive measurable aspects of the organization, consider the unintended consequences and the best investment decisions can be the data. So, create an engagement culture, and these are the practices which will make the more and more employee engaged if the organization is having this type of this cultural engagement practices are there. So, this Deloitte model it is talking about the meaningful work which you give to the employees, then the hands on management, positive work environment, growth opportunity and trust in leadership is there. So, this focus on simplicity, and that is giving you that is the how you can increase the employee engagement at the workplace. Now, this is the paper organizational resources, organizational engagement climate and the employee engagement is there, and this paper will be giving you the direction how you can increase the employee engagement and find out the new practices for the employee engagement in your organization. This is the book, A Recipe to Boost Organizational Performance by the Vipul Saxena. This will help you to get the more understanding, that is the how employee can be engaged, and this has been on the 15 industries at different sizes have been, the data has been collected, and therefore you will get a complete idea, that is how to make the your employees the useful globally for the organizations are there. These are the references. You can go into the details of these references which will be helping you for the further studies. Thank you.